Okay, good day learners. Let's do the corrections for this worksheet here that I sent for you. Yeah, so here's a memo for that. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to break this up into real, not real, yeah, rational or irrational, an integer, a natural number, or a whole number. Now a number can either be real or not real. It can't be both at the same time. It either can be rational or irrational. It can't be both at the same time. Now these last three columns, if you go into your notes, you're gonna see what an integer is. Integer, I'm talking about this here. Integers are, okay, let's start with whole numbers. Let's start with whole numbers because it starts from this way. Whole numbers are numbers, whole numbers that have zero. So like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you have zero. Natural numbers are just natural numbers. You do not have zero there, meaning you just have 1, 2, 3, 4, and just upwards. Now integers has the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 upwards, and it has negative numbers like -1, -2, -3, etc. Right? So that's what that is. So let's say the number 0. We said the 0 can be here and the 0 can be here. So it's not there. See, that's why we left it blank. Then, is it rational or irrational? How do we answer? Let's just zoom in there. How do we answer if something is rational or irrational? If it is rational, it can be written as a fraction. Now let's see. The number 0. Can't we write 0 as 0 over 1 equals to, oh sorry, I had it in scientific mode from our other lesson. Let's see, back to normal mode. Okay, yeah, okay, there we go. Is equal to 0, so we have a number, right? And yes, it can be written as a fraction, 0 over 1. If you want to actually see the fraction, 0 over 1, right? It can be written as a fraction. Then, is it real or non-real? Now, I showed you on the shortcut that as long as the calculator gives you an answer, it's real. Now, looking at this memo, this is not real. So let's see. Let's type this in. If you're going to type in square root of -2 is equal to, it gives you a math error. Once you have the math error, that tells you that this number is not real. This number does not exist on the number line, right? That's a shortcut to tell you whether something is real or not real. Now that technique, that this math error technique that you can use with a calculator, can help you answer all of this, right? That's also the first two columns. This next columns here, let's look at pi, the value of pi. So there's pi here, right? Shift, and it says button here. Pi is equal to, it tells you pi is equal to pi. So you need to press SD, right? So no matter how many times, okay, it gives an answer. No matter how many times I press SD, it does not turn this into a fraction. So therefore, this is irrational. Can you see that? I showed you how the 0 could have been a fraction, making it rational. Now we got 0.56. If you type in 0.56 is equal to, can you see that it already gave me a fraction? So if it can be written as a fraction, it is definitely rational. If it can't be, it is irrational, right? So see, if I press SD, it can be written as both as a decimal and as a fraction. Let's see. Okay. Another thing that's noteworthy is that if something is not real, it doesn't take any of the rest of the characteristics of the number of the numbers. Can you see that? Because the number doesn't exist, the number is non-real, right? So you use that knowledge whenever I'm faced with even marking. I sort this here out first. You must put these columns in there, and then you can see it clearly, right? Let's go to the next one. Alright, give the prime factors for these numbers. Use the tree method. So we've got the number 8 to 4. How do you do the prime numbers now? First of all, we need to know what are our prime numbers. We have 2, 3, 5, 7, etc. Right? It continues. What are prime numbers? Prime numbers are numbers that only have two factors. So number 2, you have 2 and 1, which is itself and 1. So we got 3. The number 3, you only have 3 and 1. 5, 5 and 1. If we get the number 6, we can get 6 and 1, but we can also get 2 and 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So that's why 6 is not a prime number. Right? So this is how it works. We got our number that they gave us is 804. 804 divided by, let's divide it by 2. Right? We got 402. Excuse me. Then 402 divided by 2, we've got an answer. Then we try 201 divided by 2. Let's try this. We've got 201 divided by 2 is equal to, no, now we're getting a fraction. We don't want that. So the number 2 is not working for us. So let's go to 3. So when we go to 3 now, we say 201 divided by 3. There we go. We get 67. Can you see that? Then we got a 67. Then we try now 67. We try our 67 divided by 2. Let's see our first number. Not working. Let's try 3. Not working. You're gonna try 5, 7, 13, etc. until you realize that 67 is a prime number. Now since you're at home now, you've got access to the internet. You can look at the numbers that what can I say, that are prime. Look at the prime numbers chart, right? So now here's a trick of how you can solve this out. I want you to look at something, right? Look at, we finish off our 2. Once we finished off with 2, we go to the number 3. Once we finish the number 3, we can go to something else more to the right of this, right? Same story here. We finished our 2s, then we do 3s. So see this now. If you have this one with the fact button, I've shown many learners about the one with the fact button. So we type in 804 is equal to 804 is equal to 804. Then you're going to press shift fact. You're going to see that it tells you that number 2 is going to be twice 1, 2. Can you see that? Let me pull this closer to you. Can we see that the number 2 is twice 1, 2? Then you got the number 3, and then you got 67. This is a shortcut method if you need. You need your calculator, and you just write it in order. Now obviously this calculator will give you the answers in this column, and you'll have to project or make up this this column here on the left, right? Same story for this 312. Let's try that 312. We got 312 is equal to shift fact. You got 3 2s, 1, 2, 3. Then you got a 3, and then you got a 13. Can you see that? Now obviously from there you need to generate this next part. Right? So you can continue like that, right? Just to let you know, when teachers are marking this, we look at this column and this column. As long as it's there, we don't know whether you used this method here or whether you used the calculator. We wouldn't know because it's the exact same answer is given to us, right? Same story for C and D. Right, let's go to number 3. Let's do the question. Let's simplify, right? Simplify without using a calculator. Now many learners who handed in their assignments simplified using a calculator, right? So for this section here, we need to remember that you get, put this board mass, right? Maybe put some space. Okay, so we've got board mass. So B is brackets. O we learned that O is off, but it's orders, right? I've taught many learners now that it is orders. What are orders? Orders are exponents and surds, right? That's what we mostly deal with, exponent and surds. Division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction, right? So what we, okay, I won't go into the too much detail with that. Let's look at this first part here, right? Let's maybe zoom in to get a better view. All right, there we go. Right, we're saying board mass. Let me just make this a bit smaller so I can move it around, right? Okay, we're saying board mass. Now we B is for bracket. What does a bracket mean? I see a bracket here, a pair of brackets here and here. I also see a pair of brackets here. So what does brackets mean? Brackets mean simplify within your bracket. Within your bracket. So here's my first set of brackets. So inside this bracket, I see that I can simplify this. Now, wherever you see two operators next to each other, like a negative and a negative, a negative and a positive and a negative, etc., we need to sort that out. So a negative and a negative will give you a positive. Then you have 8 plus 3, right? We sorted that out. We simplify within our brackets. Remember board mass with B. 8 plus 3, we got 11. Then we left with minus 4 times 11 plus 7. Now, should we do our multiplication or our addition first? Let's see what board mass says. It says do the multiplication first and then the addition. So we're going to do the multiplication first. Minus 4 times 11, I hope you can see that, is minus 44. And then we add the 7, final answer. Finished off, right? I didn't give you B, C. Now, I've seen many learners make the same mistake. Let me just bring this board mass down. Okay, there we go. All right. Learners are doing this. Learners are using the calculator, and we can catch you in this case because we see you doing things like 9 over 5. Let's see, let me try and remember what learners did. Yeah, okay, some learners even do this. They write 0.03 divided by 1.8, and then they just get the final answer thereafter. That's completely out. You cannot do that with the manual methods. It says do not use a calculator, and clearly you can only do that with a calculator. So therefore you'll be 0 if you do that. Other learners, okay, let's not talk about the wrong things that people are doing. Let's do it the right way, right? Now we've got 0.03 divided by 9 over 5. As soon as you see, okay, you in the section simplify, and you're not allowed to use a calculator. As soon as you see a decimal, turn that into a fraction. If you're not too sure how to do that, okay, let's do this. We've got 2 digits after the our comma, our point, so we'll have 2 zeros, right? And that's how we got 100, and whatever number you see here goes on top. If we're not too sure how to do that, 0.03 is equal to, there we go, sort out for you, right? Then we did that. Whenever you see a division sign, turn that into a multiplication and flip this, right? So the 9 goes at the bottom, the 5 goes on the top. Then when you have multiplication of fractions, we can have like 3 times 5 is going to be 15 over 900. 15 over 900, 1 over 60. All right. Now these people, what they've done is they've simplified this, meaning they realized that we can strike off this way, right? The 3 can go here 1 time, 3 can go here 3 times. We realize 5 can go here 1 time, and 5 can go here 20 times. And then they multiplied 1 times 1 is 1, and 20 times 3 is 60. That's what they've done there. But if you go this route here, like what I've shown you, it's 100% fine, right? Okay, let's go to D. Let's bring this here. Okay, there we go. 7 squared. Okay, let's do one thing at a time, right? So brackets, within our bracket it's simplified to the max. O is for your orders, we said is exponents. Now clearly we can see exponent is this here. We can see the exponent here, right? 7 squared. Then 7 squared, 49. Minus 8 squared. You're not too sure, let's type it out. Now remember, type it out as is, right? Now I'm showing you the things that you can do on the calculator not to get caught, and the things that you can't do, right? So we got positive 64. So here we would have had a positive 64. A positive and a positive gave me a positive. That's how I've got 7 squared 49 minus 8 squared 64. Let's see. Okay, this was a bit advanced, right? Okay, all right, it's a bit hard to do this on the computer, but anyways, I think you'll have to listen to me, right? So when you faced with this here, now we got the cube root of minus 64 over 27. Now you must realize that there's 3 parts in here. Your negative sign is one part, your 64 is another part, and your 27 is another part. So you need to get the cube root. Let's just put this way now. We need to get the cube root of the negative 1. This is negative 1, right? So we need to get the cube root of negative 1 is negative 1. That's how this became negative 1. The cube root is also going to affect my 64. So let's go here and let's put in 64 is equal to 4. See 64? Turn to a 4. Then we also need to find the cube root of 27. 3. Right? Yes, if you type in the whole thing in your calculator, you should get the exact same answer. Negative 64 over 27. There we go. Right? You should get the exact same thing as well. Then we've got a negative and a negative. See this? Once you got two operators next to each other, you must realize negative negative give me a positive. I just simply added the 49 and the 64, 113. Added that, simplify, sort it out, right? Let's see the next one. D, I did give you E and F and H. Okay. Let's just see what else sections we've got so I know how long I'm gonna be here. Okay, whilst marking, this here was a troublesome section, right? So let's go with E. Right, let's go with E now. Brackets, everything is simplified to the max within your bracket. That's fine, right? So then we've got orders. We've got our exponent. There's our exponent, and we've got our surd. Remember, the square root needs to go on the top. Square root of 9, 3. Square root of 25, 5. That's how we got that. Now remember, I want to look at this now. When you have an exponent outside your bracket, this square is going to affect the 7, so we're going to get 7 squared. This square is also going to affect your 10, so we can get 10 squared. 7 squared, 49. Let's just scroll down a little. We're saying 7 squared, 49. 10 squared, 100. Right? A minus sign came down there. 1 cubed, 5 cubed. There we go. 5 cubed, 125. 1 cubed, 1. Then you need to find your lowest common denominator. Now this is something that learners have a trouble with most of the time, right? So okay, let's see how can I make this 5 and this 100, right? What can they have in common? I'm just starting off up. Let's imagine we didn't know the answer was this, right? 500. So we're gonna say 100 divided by 5, and we realize, hey, 5 can go into 100. Alright, so what can I do is I can multiply this here by 20 and I'll get to 100, but I can't turn the 125 into 100. That's the problem now. Okay, so we can't do that. Then but I know the 5 can also go into 125, right? Now what can I do? Let's see. If I say 125 times 2, 125 times 2, let's see. Now let's aim for 250. If we aim it for 250 now, can I turn this 100 into a 250 multiplied by something? No, I can't do that. So let's try this 125 by 4. We got 500. Now let's try with 500. Can I turn the 100 into 500? Yes, I can say times 5. Can I turn the 5 into 500? Yes, I can say times 100. So what do I need to do? Let's just keep it calculated. What do we need to do to this 5 to make it 500? We realize the lowest common denominator is 500. I need to say here now times 100. 5 times 100, 500. 3 times 100, 300. That's how we got that. What do I need to do to this 100 to make it become a 500? I need to multiply by 5. So we got 49 times 5. That's how we got that, right? Then this 125 we said times 4. 125 times 4 is equal to 500. 1 times 4, there we go. Now once that's done, we can simplify it, right? We're saying 300 plus 245 minus 4. That's how we got that. Now we accept both this as a final answer and this as a final answer, right? So if we don't know how to turn this into a mixed fraction, we're gonna say 5. Okay, let's write it out as is. Sorry, divided by 500 is equal to, you get that. You press SD. See how we used to SD working like this, right? If I press Shift SD, it gives me a mixed fraction, right? So that's sorted out. That's gone. See, okay, the video is becoming a bit long. Okay, let's go to F, right? I'm just going to finish this section, then I'm going to close this video here and I'll continue in another video, right? So BODMAS, let's see here, within my bracket, simplify that, right? Within my bracket, we simplify it. Then it's okay, this is quite easy. This is actually an easy one. This minus 42 over 7, let's check that. Minus 42 over 7 give us minus 6. That's how we got that, right? That's how we got that. Simplified this here in our brackets, and then we know that we need to do multiplication first, then addition, simplify, and you're out. Let's go to this one. Okay, all right, yes, this is a nice one. Now you cannot work with numbers that are mixed fractions, and you cannot work with numbers that are decimals. If you do work with that, I already know that you use the calculator, right? Remember, the section said do not use a calculator. Now yes, I have been using a calculator to help me out with small stuff that you cannot be caught with, right? Let's see here, we've got 200 over 87, kept that, right? Now as soon as your mixed fraction, turn that day into a improper fraction. Now yeah, okay, so we're gonna say 2 times 9 plus 2, sorry, 2 times 9 plus 2, right? So we say 2 times 9 plus 2. 2 times 9, what's happening? 2 times 9 plus 2 is 20. That's how they got the 20 over 9. Or now when you type in this number in your calculator, do not press this, then use your direction button and get the A. Don't ever do that. You must press Shift. This is your mixed fraction button. You're gonna have 2 and we've got 2 over 9 is equal to There we got it, right? You can do the same thing for this one here as well. So once you got that there, remember you cannot have a decimal here, so we're gonna sort that there out. We're gonna say 0.42 is equal to okay, no, let's not look at it there for now, right? We got that 2 digits 0 with the 42 there, right? So let's see here, division, turn the multiplication and flip. So I hope you can see that here's one part of multiplication and here's another part of multiplication. Maybe let me zoom in so you can, what's happening here? You can see it a bit better. Let's get this. Okay. Here's one part of here's a pair of multiplication there. Here's another multiplication here, right? We multiply and then we're gonna simplify, right? Same story. Then when we simplify, we've got this. We are back to the part where we need to find a lowest common denominator. Now in this case, we could not find anything in between, so we said 29 times 10, 290. Multiply this idea by 10. That's how we got 30 times 10 is 300. Multiply this idea by 29. That's how we got 29 times 6 is 174. Right, just to show you, so you can be happy. We're saying 20. Okay, we're saying 6 times 29. There we go, right? And then we just simplify. H, let's see. Let's go to G. Okay, now brackets, everything within my brackets is simplified to the max. Remember, we said we don't want to work with numbers like 0.3, turn them into a fraction. Turn this into a fraction, right? Orders, we got a third, yes we do, right? So remember, my square root is going to go to the 25 and is going to go to 100. Square root of 25, 5. Square root of 100, 10. Then we've got 3 cubed, 27, 10 cubed, 1000, right? Lowest common denominator here is 1000, right? So simplify, and there you got your answer. Remember, we accept both, right? This or this. That's it for there. All right, let's stop this video here. We don't want it too big, and I'll continue in the next video. Thank you.